Hi, I'm Madiha. I'm a senior scientist and a leader in cybersecurity and artificial intelligence. I'm also a single mom of two young children, and I'm making this video in hopes that I can share some of the lessons learned that I've gained over the years, and I'm hoping that some of them can be helpful to you during these times as well. So, with coronavirus and social distancing, many of us are being asked to work from home. So, again, these are very serious times. A lot of people don't even have jobs or don't know where their next paycheck is coming from. So, the fact that you can work from home, the fact that you do have healthy children at home with you is a huge, huge blessing. And I'm sure that many of you are already very, very appreciative of that and grateful of that. So, on that positive note, I just want to talk about a few of the articles that are out there, sharing some of the ideas of how to effectively work from home. A lot of them are focusing on having schedules and routines. Some of them even recommend that you work out these shifts with your partner if you have a partner, and as I mean that's what basically inspired me to create this video, because I think all of those ideas sound very nice theoretically, but they're not very practical. They haven't really worked for me, at least ever since I've been trying to juggle everything, right? So it's like a workout. You don't start with the full set of weights, right? You start small, or any diet, right? In order for anything to be sustainable, you have to be able to handle it instead of getting burned out by it from the start. So I feel like that's what schedules do to you. So I like to start out with something different. I like to start out with setting your priorities. What are your priorities that you definitely don't want to sacrifice during these stressful times? Um, so some of the popular priorities that people talk about are children, having a good relationship with their partner, food, work, and last but not least, yourself. Right. So if I had to prioritize that priority list, I would put yourself as number one. You have to put your own mask on first before you can help others, and then of course the rest in the order that fits your needs. So now, once we have the priorities down, then you have to think about what is the minimum acceptance criteria for each of these priorities, right? So, what would make you mentally satisfied on each of these priorities? So, now I know that we are all professionals, we are all probably very high achievers. So, to set the bar so low and think about what is the minimum acceptance criteria for each is a little bit of a hard. It's sad. We're not used to having such low bar, but during these times, and as we learn to juggle all these different priorities, I mean, I've listed five here, and those five are usually on everybody's plate. You have to start small, and you have to think about what is the minimum that will make you happy. So let's take yourself as an example. Let's talk about our first priority, yourself. So you can spend an entire day on yourself, right? You can exercise, you can eat healthy, you can relax, you can work on your hobbies, music, dancing, singing, I mean, the drawing, painting, right? You can do so much to make yourself healthy and better. But we don't have that much time. So, what would make you happy? How much time do you want to spend on yourself that would make you feel like, feel satisfied mentally? And I think, so to give you an example for myself, right? I like to spend at least half an hour on myself during weekdays. So weekend is a different story, right? But on weekdays I like to spend at least half an hour. So it's a set rule. The kids know it. This is mommy time. We don't bring work during that time. We don't bring children stay out of it, right? So this is your time. So I think that's super, super important that you at least get at least half hour of that as you get started with your work week. Now, besides yourself being number one priority, right, then there's food, right? We have to be able to eat healthy, and we like to feed healthy. So when you're talking about 3 meals a day at least, to make all those 3 meals healthy and fresh is a hard task. So it's an ideal task, but it's hard. So where do you start? So I like to start it with at least just one meal. Just 1 meal a day. You're going to cook, feed, clean, right? So let's make that a family event, right? That's another bonding, a chance to bond with your family. So we do that, and uh, and hopefully, as you get a hang of things, you can maybe start to make bigger meals that can serve the second time, and you can get more clever with how you organize yourself, right? But don't do that on day one, right? Day one, start with just one meal. And then for the other meals, if you and your family are eating Pop Tarts, or you're eating, macaroni and cheese or ramen noodles, it's, it sounds terrible, but, don't kill yourself over it. This is just the beginning. You're going to build up to it. All right, so besides food, children, let's talk about children, right? We feel so guilty because we are guilty about the amount of screen time that our kids are having, especially during this time, right? Electronics are such an easy distraction to push them towards. So we obviously feel guilty. So again, no, don't reduce it all, right? And put them on the strict schedule of activities. You're going to be miserable. They're going to be miserable. Think about how much quality time do you want to spend with them, right? And not want, because you want to spend a lot. How much can you spend, right? So let's start with something small, like half an hour or an hour again. Now kids are very intelligent, right? They can tell when you are actually paying attention to them, or when you're just nodding, or when your mind is elsewhere. So and again, the kids would much rather have half an hour of your focus time than 3 hours of your very choppy time where you're constantly looking at the watch and looking at, when is your next meeting. So again, just, plan it so that, you have that half hour to an hour of just completely focused attention where, you're just, again, focused on them. And just that little bit of time goes a long way. Then, let's talk about your partner, right? If you have a partner, how do you maintain a relationship with that? A good relationship there. So again, I'm a divorced mom, so I don't think I have qualified to speak on this much. But my quick 2 cents would be that during these times, keep the expectation low. Be patient. So as your children are learning to accept the change, so is your partner. So give them some time. And I think keep the love and respect levels high, and keep the control levels low. And that's what turns me off about schedules, right? And to me, if whether you are imposing schedule on your partner, or your partner is imposing it on you, it's a bit of a control. So I think it just causes this unnecessary tension that you don't need right now. So just again, keep it simple. Let's see, from a work perspective, you are naturally going to get millions and millions of meetings on your calendar, right? So you have to now balance all that. You can't find a quiet place in the house. There are 5 other family members who are, using the same bandwidth as you. So now you have choppy connections. How do you balance everything, right? And well, the good thing right now is that the entire world is on your side, literally, right? That's not how things used to be. A lot of us as parents, who would stay home with sick children, had to really juggle in a very awkward way. I would, like, for example, have my baby, with a 101 fever, bouncing the baby while, being on a call, cleverly, pressing the mute button, unmute button as needed, while talking to a customer, pretending to be all cool and professional, and meanwhile just praying that the baby doesn't vomit, or doesn't cry or scream out of pain, right? So it was much harder to balance before. But now I mean, thankfully, right, I think people are really becoming more accepting of everybody's families. So having said that, right, so if you do have your precious children, or pets, come in, embrace that, right? Embrace that opportunity. And also, of course, you do have to focus on your meeting. So do keep some extra distractions on your desk, so that you can, keep your child with you, and kind of distract them for a little bit, until they feel comfortable with you. Now, another thing about children is that they are very clever, right? They can tell when you are panicking, or they can sense fear. So the minute you try to push them away, and you try to tell them, just because you are in an important meeting, the more they're going to cling to you. You panic begets panic, especially in children. So you have to make sure that you stay as calm as possible, and that reassurance of uh, bonding, holding them, really, I think it makes them just feel so much more comfortable, and then they're able to leave you a little bit quicker. um, so besides the the whole children part. I think another thing that that was really helpful for me, for from a work priority perspective, was that I do like to work after the children go to sleep. I do like to put in about an hour or 2 hours at night, so to prepare for my next day. So when you can focus on your work for an hour, that goes a long way, so that you can look at next day's schedule, figure out, okay, what are the critical meetings, which meetings can you kind of wing, you kind of to flag them from the beginning, that okay, this meeting, it will be really good if I don't have any distractions. And then you can also cancel some of the meetings if you think that you can handle them via email, right? So just like that 1 hour of focus time can really prepare you for the next day, and it can go a long way in terms of helping you and be ready for the next day of work. Now, I spoke very fast, and I know I didn't cover a lot of other priorities. What about grocery? What about laundry? What about, yard work? All of these things need to happen as well. So yes, they do, but they're extremely low priority. Keep them low on the priority list, unless you are that kind of a person who likes to keep it all high. Then, have fun with that. But otherwise, though, don't feel guilty if your family is, plucking out clean clothes to wear out of the dryer, if you haven't been able to fold the laundry and put it away. Again, this is all temporary. So as you build that momentum, you're going to be able to fit in more tasks, so it has taken me 10 years to be, and I'm still not there, right? I'm still trying to juggle things and trying to balance things. And something new happens, your child grows and they have their own mood swings and all that, so something new happens, and you just have to kind of run with it. so so with that, just realize that this is all temporary, right? So on that note, I hope that this doesn't last very long. I hope you get to go back to work very soon. But when you do go back to work, my request to you is that to please not forget these times. Even though you may be back at work, remember the fact that many of us probably can't go back to work in the same capacity as you. A lot of us do have children and elderly and other family members to take care of. A lot of us can't travel. A lot of us need your support for virtual collaboration. So I hope you can continue to show empathy after this experience. So with that, please feel free to reach out to me for any questions. Best wishes to you, and I know you've got this. Good luck.